Hey, what's up, folks? This is Jesse with Keeping It Real Finance, the channel that always has your back and tells it like it is. Well, today's video is your weekly Jasmy update, and I gotta say it feels good to be back on the air. I've had a really busy week, so I haven't been able to produce a lot of videos, but I definitely was getting this one in no matter what. And so that being said, we've got a lot of different topics to cover for Jasmy. We've got some different articles, we've got an exchange listing, we're going to be taking a look at TradingView, CoinMarketCap, Etherscan, we'll be looking at some images from the white paper. I've just got a lot in this one. So even if you've been following Jasmy for quite a long time, you'll probably learn a few things here, as well as for anybody who's just now getting into Jasmy, I'm going to be covering just a ton of information in this video. So hopefully we got everybody covered and you'll have some good takeaways for the weekend. All right? So if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit the like button. If this is your first time to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you click the bell, you'll be made aware whenever I post time-sensitive content just like this. And now, let's get it going. All right, so we're going to be kicking off today's video, your weekly Jasmy update at Hara's Twitter feed. So a lot of things are going to be springing off of here and what we're going to be talking about in today's video. The first one of which was another centralized exchange listing. So the week before had been kind of quiet. As I recall, I don't think we had any the prior week. But we did have one here that came up, which was with Mercado Bitcoin. So Jasmy listed on Mercado Bitcoin. So I had not previously heard of this exchange. I went over to Google and looked them up here. And as of the end of 2021, looks like they had roughly 3.2 million users. So that's another 3.2 million people who now have exposure to Jasmy. So very positive in my eyes. All right. Now, going back here to Hara's page, moving up from there, there's a little bit trending on the scammer front over the past week. Apparently, Hara had somebody impersonating him. So my fake also appeared, and it started Twitter earlier than me, which is kind of funny. You know, when I had somebody trying to fake my account, they actually had more followers than I did. So scammers are definitely coming out of the woodwork all the time. The comments of this video are full of WhatsApp scammers, so just be mindful of that. That happens anytime money is involved, especially in cryptocurrency. So just FYI there. All right. Now, moving up here, so this was kind of interesting. So Hara did this post here with the fourth article on Jasmy Secure PC was published in IT Media. So that was really interesting. And he ended up posting a little higher up also that this is one of four articles. And as he mentions here, the fourth article. And he shared the link to the other four. So I wanted to kind of just show you all that right now. So here's the first one here, this most recent post. This is technically article number 4 that was talking about Jasmy Secure PC. Highly recommend you checking this one out. It had a lot of different quotes from Takashi Hagawara of Jasmy, so director, software development manager. Numerous quotes on him. We've got some different charts here. They're a little bit hard to follow, though, as it's got the Japanese characters in here, so I couldn't do a whole lot there, but lots of different quotes from him. There's even a screenshot here of roughly what Jasmy Secure PC agent would look like. And I want to show you in one of the articles, I show you a little bit more on the screenshot side. But the main thing in this article was kind of down here at the bottom. You know, I always try to decipher these articles and give you some useful information as opposed to just reading the whole thing. So the big thing in this one is that essentially Jasmy Secure PC can control access to sensitive data using ghost drives and management commands, and can also monitor for suspicious operations such as taking them out. In addition, by visualizing the work status for both employees and managers, so these are the two different versions of Secure PC, we will thoroughly raise awareness of information management as an organization. Now, it goes on to say at the bottom here, It will be effective as a measure against the risk of information leakage. So, who this is talking about are those teleworkers, the people who are now working at home that before COVID were working in an office. Secure PC centers all around securing that data. And I want to say that Zach, the crypto cracker, also known as Learn Cryptology, I want to say he talked about this at some point in one of his videos. And he was talking all about how basically everything gets encrypted into numbers, and then you need to be able to read those numbers back. And I think that's essentially what Jasmy is doing here with this platform, the Secure PC. Okay. Now, moving forward, so here are those 4 different articles. And the easiest way to get here is through the tweet that Hara mentioned, which is a little bit further up in his Twitter feed. I didn't show you that just yet. But look at this right here. So it's got this little image of how everything works. And look, it says Jasmy. So this is actually pretty cool. So it's kind of like the IT media special image version, picturized version of Jasmy. So pretty cool there. Now, this article here was, I think it was this one, the second one. When you click on that one, let me move forward to it. Again, it's talking all about Jasmy Secure PC. Talks a little bit about, what these different screenshots look like. Again, we've got numerous quotes from Mr. Hagawara. But I just found it kind of interesting that you could actually see here's basically what the platform will look like. So I thought that was pretty cool that you could finally see some screenshots of this, because I know, especially for those of us here, English speakers, obviously I'm in the USA and those around the world, it's sometimes hard to get an actual picture of how far we are into this process and what these programs actually look like. And here's some screenshots. So I found that to be pretty cool. Here's a couple of more here, screenshots, from the manager function in particular. So obviously the manager would see at a much higher level what's going on with their various teleworker employees who are then working in the quote contact center, which would be, I guess, the West version of a call center. It's all the same thing. So basically that telephone support people for, anything that you're calling in on. So in Japan, theoretically you could say, hey, I'm calling the call center for Panasonic, let's say, and Panasonic could have, 200 different reps across Japan, and they could be using Jasmy Secure PC, and the manager could be monitoring all the data that's coming in through here. So pretty cool. Couple articles there. So definitely check those out if you get the chance. Those were through Hara's Twitter feed. And I want to say, I think I retweeted one of those. Now, going back to Hara's feed. So there was another interesting thing that came out. Moving up here, and this is the What is Jasmy from Binance Academy that has been updated, apparently. Now, the reason this is so fascinating is it kind of takes Jasmy in a whole nother direction. So anybody who is new to Jasmy, it's multifaceted. There's numerous different angles to Jasmy. Some of those angles include the secure PC for basically those teleworkers. Another angle includes the personal data lockers and securing that data and compensating users for it. Another angle is the metaverse, NFTs. We've got the sports angle, fan tokens. We've got potentially a autonomous vehicle angle. There's numerous different sides to this. And the reason I wanted to highlight this one in particular is that this one talks a lot about the metaverse. So I found this kind of fascinating. So let me go over here. So here's the Binance Academy on Jasmy, all right? So I'm going to kind of just comb through this article here with you. So it says, first of all, Jasmy is a blockchain platform focused on providing data security and sharing services in the IoT era. That's true. IoT stands for Internet of Things. This is basically anything around you that's connected to the internet is considered to be IoT. So it goes down here. Let's see here. So here's something interesting. So it's talking about the metaverse. The metaverse's market size will reach a staggering 800 billion within the next 2 years. Yeah, I didn't even know that. And that's projection, right? This is why you hear about people that are buying digital real estate in the metaverse, right? Well, is the metaverse just a metaverse itself, or is it various platforms metaverse? That's what it kind of looks like to me. So, it's kind of interesting. You could theoretically buy like real estate in Decentraland's metaverse, and then you could go over to the Jasmy metaverse and buy some real estate there that you could sell later. Um, this is a whole new world, a whole new experience, a new profit center, for a business. It's just a really interesting topic, the metaverse. Me being almost 40, and I'm pretty close to 40 now. It's a little bit foreign to me, but I'll kind of go through this and share my thoughts on it. Right now, it says here, one significant problem with the metaverse and blockchain worlds is the lack of an effective decentralized data storage system. So this is kind of where the whole Web3 comes in, the decentralized internet. And that's exactly what they're talking about here. Now, it also goes on to say, and I had mentioned this in an article, which I'm going to share here in a minute, that I wrote a little over a week ago, where I said, who even founded Jasmy? Because if you look at Jasmy's website, it looks like it goes back to Katsumasa Sato. He is the current leader, as well as Kunitake Ando. He is the former, big dog head honcho at Sony. And both of them started it in 2016. That's when they both came on board. So it looks like it's Katsumasa Sato, according to this article. But that's still not entirely clear. But it's interesting that they make that assertion here. And obviously, Hara retweeted it. So I'm assuming this is accurate. So I guess he is the founder of it. So he was also a president of Sony at Sony Style. All right. So how does Jasmy work? Now, here's some different things here. So metadata storage. So with the help of IoT encryption technology and distributed storage, users can safely store code, text, information, pictures, videos, motion, audio for metaverse uses. So again, check this out. So Jasmy achieves this through a personal data locker and storage of files using IPFS. So really interesting. The mechanism distributes data across users in a peer-to-peer network. So I had previously always kind of imagined the personal data locker like somebody like putting in their Facebook data into it and then being compensated for it later when something like that Nippon travel agency wants to use the data. Well, this is sort of applying that data to the metaverse and what it looks like in the metaverse component. So pretty interesting. Now, it also says here, identity ID. So Jasmy provides a unique, immutable, and self-controlled decentralized identity solution. The offering gives users straightforward access to their data on an on-chain virtual identity. A blockchain-based system for establishing digital identities is key to any protocol that takes data storage seriously. That's true as well. Immersive game worlds. This is kind of the first I've heard of this. The Jasmy protocol enables the creation and storage of characters, equipment, skins, and other metaverse game assets in the form of NFTs. Interesting. I'd like to see a lot more on this. I imagine we'll be learning a lot more about that. But it's really kind of cool seeing this aspect of it. Then it says IoT devices and equipment. So a key aspect of the metaverse is its immersive nature. This makes IoT and virtual reality equipment important to the user experience. IoT technologies, sensor modules, augmented reality, and VR devices can all be used with Jasmy protocol. Interesting. So this is more about Jasmy and the metaverse than I think I've seen yet. So I'm not sure exactly where they're sourcing all of their information here for Binance Academy. It doesn't say that they're getting it from like a white paper or specifically from Jasmy themselves, or it doesn't really say where they're getting this info and kind of making these different assumptions. So pretty interesting, right? Now, what is the Jasmy Metaverse token? So again, this is where we're always talking that the Jasmy coin essentially is an ERC token and it has utility. So in terms of the metaverse, here's the utility: rewarding, motivating players in Jasmy games, purchasing mystery blind box foundry heroes, buying metaverse in-game assets such as heroes, weapons, consumables, and land. Again, the first I've heard about any of this. Staking in liquidity pools for liquidity mining and obtaining token rewards. There you go, staking. I have been talking about staking for weeks and weeks, months and months with Jasmy. And there you go. So they're talking about doing this with the metaverse, right? Accessible data available in Jasmy data lockers, taking part in Jasmy governance mechanism through a DAO. So again, I was talking about that too. Jasmy tokens will also be used to reward community members for their creations and contributions to the Jasmy Metaverse ecosystem. Really awesome, right? Now, obviously, where you can buy it, Jasmy is available pretty much all over the place. I talked about that in my last video about, the updated terms that came out with Coinbase. I did move my coins away from Coinbase. I'll just say it. I sent mine over to Binance US. That's where I've got them right now. Binance US, there's not a whole lot you can do with it at the moment other than buy, sell, or hold. But you can do that, and they do have a lot of different coins on there. So I went ahead and just moved my Jasmy over there because ultimately, if anything ever does happen to Coinbase, I really just don't want to deal with that headache, right? So that's why I went ahead and moved mine. Now, you do have other options out there, and I would say I had somebody reach out to me about the cold storage options. When I looked that up, I found that I think it was the Trezor cold storage wallet does work with Jasmy. It is compatible. I looked into the ledger, and they were not compatible as of yet. And that was just a couple days ago. So definitely, if you want to go the cold storage route, check out the Trezor. And when you go to their site, they've got a section that says, supported coins, and you can just search for Jasmy. And as long as that comes up in the supported coins, you're good to go. But if you're looking at a cold storage wallet and you look at the supported coins, it's not there, then that means that wallet does not support it. So not all wallets are created equal. And I know some of these wallets were looking at online solutions as well outside of just cold storage. So that may be part of their process also. But anyhow, with all of that, the Trezor in particular was the main one. All right. Now, here in the closing thoughts, it says Jasmy has set its sights on two important blockchain use cases, the metaverse and data sovereignty. So there's significant crossover between them and creating a new blockchain. Look at that, a new blockchain and IoT platform focusing on these topics could provide us an interesting, unique solution. So we've been talking about that also, a new blockchain. So at some point, they really got to move away from the ERC20, the Ethereum blockchain, and create, their new blockchain and have their token on there, a native token that you can stake, that you have governance rights, with the DAO and whatnot. So it looks like all of that is apparently in the works. And again, this article doesn't share anything where they're getting all this information from, but we know that Hara retweeted it. So apparently it is accurate. So very, very good article to check out from the Binance Academy on Jasmy. All right. Now, the only other things in Hara's page was some more scam stuff that's going on. There is just so much scamming going on out there. You really got to be careful. Whether, whatever social media platform you're on, whether it be Twitter, Discord, Reddit, YouTube, be very, very careful of anybody that's offering to help you. Or oftentimes you'll see these fake support accounts come up that they offer you support. And yeah, just reach out to us and enter your info. Never, ever do that. Never do that. Okay. So moving forward here, I did want to talk about a couple other things. So this was in my email earlier this week, and I'm sure that if you are in the crypto space or financial investing, you've probably seen this, that essentially Robinhood sent out an email just a couple days ago that says, get early access to Robinhood's Web3 wallet. This is a very large development, right? So they say, we're excited to announce today that Robinhood is stepping into the world of Web3 and DeFi. We're building a brand new Web3 crypto wallet you fully control. A separate app with the same Robinhood experience that gives you the benefits of self-custody while allowing you to easily access dApps and protocols to, number one, trade and swap crypto with no network fees, earn yield on your crypto. These are like the golden items that everybody wants, right? and then store NFTs and connect to NFT marketplaces. That kind of like checks the main boxes. So you can see that's what they're going for. Now, the other unique wrinkle in this story is that Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, so he is the head of FTX, and FTX recently announced that they were also getting into stock market, right? So now they're going to be doing stock market, and he became a minority investor in Robinhood. So there are some ties, some relationships kind of being built under the surface. And it looks like this is going to be its own standalone process, this Robinhood crypto, the crypto wallet. It'll be separate from your regular Robinhood now. So it kind of looks to me like they're looking at uh, keeping them separate. One will be for the stock market, and the other will be for crypto and accomplish all those crypto goals that you want. Now, why this is significant to Jasmy is we've been talking about this for quite a while about Jasmy eventually getting listed on Robinhood. And one of the guys I had talked about this said, well, Jasmy is a little bit different in terms of, or excuse me, not Jasmy. Robinhood's a little bit different in terms of their clientele that they attract, right? They're always kind of looking for low costs, low fees. How can I acquire a lot of something? And that's really how Doge took off, because it took off on Robinhood, right? Well, if you apply Jasmy to that same concept versus, the price of Doge, Jasmy is really cheap right now. It's floating around, give or take 1 penny. So could Jasmy go on a huge run if it were to be listed on Robinhood? Absolutely. And what this really tells you is that Robinhood's saying we're going to get a lot deeper into crypto than we previously had. So for the longest time, Robinhood only had, I want to say, 7 different cryptos that were listed, like forever. Now, within the last couple of months, they added a whole group of others. And it kind of seemed like for quite a long time that maybe adding something like Jasmy would be a long shot. Well, if they go this route and they really, really dip their feet into crypto, then I don't see any reason why Jasmy couldn't get listed on Robinhood. So I think that could be around the corner too. And the biggest thing there is really the exposure to even more investors, right? Now, I also posted this. So on my website at KIRfinance.com, I've got a blog section. If you go to the website, it's right up here. It says blog. And I post kind of, daily articles, whether it be crypto, personal finance. The last one I did was on real estate. There are all kinds of different investments, but it's basically just a financial blog. And one of the things I posted was a deep dive on Jasmy. So I created this image here, basically just shows you how I see this working with this personal data lockers. You're going through the secure knowledge communicator. And then the merchant who wants to access it goes and they use their Jasmy right here. So they are going to have to buy Jasmy ahead of time. They're going to have to use that Jasmy to access the personal data locker in the form of a license, and then the user would receive their Jasmy. So that was that. Now, scrolling down further, I've got a whole bunch of different facts, and these are kind of all the different things that I've learned about Jasmy over time, obviously excluding what we're talking about in today's video. But there's a lot of really good info there if you're not fully sure of what Jasmy is or how it works. I tried to list that. I then tried to list all the different use cases so far that I was aware of. Put those in there. I even added this whole section here of questions that I have, because I've got quite a few questions also, some blanks that we need to fill in, and then a verdict on how I feel about this whole article. So if you haven't seen it yet, I do have that posted through my Twitter feed. You can check it out that way, or you can simply just go to KIRfinance.com and check out the blog, and that's where that article is housed. All right. Now, moving on over to CoinMarketCap. So CoinMarketCap, I like to go here to, first of all, check out the HODLer wallets. So this is Mount Jasmy here that's been building over time, rising out of the Pacific Ocean. And currently, we are just shy of 28,000. So we have actually been doing fantastic in a just plummeting, bloodbath, awful last couple of weeks, months in this market. I mean, this market has just sort of been a downer. There's some days that I look at it and I'm just like, I mean, on the one hand, don't get me wrong, I really like to invest when things are cheap and I like to accumulate. And that's the whole point. That's how you build gains in crypto. But on the other hand, it's like, I'd like to know there's a light at the end of the tunnel coming. And yes, there will be a light at the end of the tunnel, but at the moment it's been a lot of gloomy days. So regardless of all that, we have been continuing to increase in the HODLer wallets. So very awesome. I even had somebody that commented the other day on one of these posts that said, I remember buying Cardano at 0.02. And I said, yep, I compare this one to Cardano a lot because, you could argue why Cardano ran. It's probably ran mostly because of Charles Hoskinson constantly talking about it, right? That's why it ran. And so it's sort of been in development for quite a while and continuing to build and fine tune and get better. And they're always releasing another paper and whatever. But I think Jasmy has some very strong similarities there, and it could absolutely do the same thing in terms of a run. So Cardano ended up peaking through that run that it went on at $3.15. Why couldn't Jasmy do the same? Very similar supply. I don't see any reason why not. All right. Now, I also wanted to highlight here, if you're looking at the circulating supply, we talk about this weekly, the number's wrong. All you got to do is highlight the check, and you can see under that what the actual number is, 30.8 billion. And we're going to be talking about that in a second as well. The self-reported market cap, this is basically just this supply number times the current price gives you $375 million. Now, moving over to TradingView, taking a look at the Jasmy chart. I've got a lot of people that reach out to me on Twitter regularly, and they say, hey, Jasmy's down. Why is Jasmy down? Is Jasmy going to come back? What's going on with Jasmy? So here's where I see Jasmy currently based on the Fibonacci, as well as just some generic trend lines that, I've managed to draw here. And you can see where we're at. We're kind of at an area where it looks like we could dip down. Okay. If we dip down, if you look at, the other times that we've kind of been in this similar pattern, we could be dipped down here for probably another week at least. On the other hand, let's say we do a little jog kind of like this right here, and then we do a big jump up. Well, that could send us positive for a good week. What really kind of weighs on everything here, and Jasmy has been trying to deviate from Bitcoin, it really has. But the kicker in all of this is the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, the stock market has just been awful. I mean, it has been awful, and everything else has just sort of gone down with it. And so it doesn't matter anything that's happening with Jasmy themselves, their news, how bullish it is, their expansion. None of this stuff really matters right now because the overall global markets are just so far down is kind of where we're at. Now, lots and lots of opportunity here because I'll tell you what, when it does go up, you are going to be kicking yourself if you haven't picked up any at the bottom, right? So I always recommend a DCA strategy, never big investments all at once, just DCA over time, and you should do just fine in this one, right? So looking at where we're at though right now, being that the RSI is really near the top here of sort of an oversold area, I'm expecting us to dip from this. So could we be down a week or so? Maybe. We'll kind of see what happens with these next couple of bars up here. You can see this trend line. I mean, we're kind of just barely below it. So do we ride this trend line for a little bit or do we fall below? If we fall firmly below, then we'll be below it for probably a good week. If we can hold this trend, then an interesting little insight here is if you look at this little jump right here from roughly, let's say May 16th, we kind of had a little bump up. Kind of reminds me of exactly what happened right back here where we had this little bump up, we had a drawdown, and then it blew up big time. So could we follow that same pattern over here? It is possible, patterns repeat, and that's what we're all just looking for is patterns. Now, in terms of this one, the EMAs in particular, the moving averages, if you can see this, there's a dark blue one right here. That's the 200-day. We've got this green one, the 50-day, and the red one down here is the 20-day. Well, we need the red one to cross over bullishly and eventually get all the way up above this. And then the whole thing will go big time bullish. So right now we are still firmly bearish, but that's okay. This is your accumulation phase, all right? Now, moving forward, Wanted to just drop in over at Etherscan real quick to kind of check on these wallets here, the various HODLer wallets that are, as far as we know, the project. We've got 20 that are 500 million. We've got 9 that are 400 million and 8 that are 300 million. So as far as I can tell, I don't think those have moved. And with that, I wanted to share something else that Brian Russell shared with me on Twitter. And this is taken from the Jasmy white paper. Now, this is pretty interesting because previously we have talked about how, we're really kind of like phase one of this whole thing, period one. They break it out into 4 periods here for Jasmy and the overall model of the project. And what's really interesting is that if you were simply looking at the circulating supply number and CoinMarketCap, you would say, hey, it looks like we're firmly in phase one, right? But when you highlight over the check and you look at that self-reported circulating supply number of 30.8 billion, that's nearly 62%. It actually lines up almost perfectly with phase two moving into phase three. So really where we're at right now in Jasmy is this period of growth and value. We're kind of like let's say right about here, where before we get to this phase, obviously there are going to be more coins that come out as part of the project for this period growth and value. So it says down here that this is the period of data utilization business will increase as the ecosystem spreads. As the number of data utilization business increase, the number of Jasmy coin distribution in the market will also increase. So it looks like if you went from here to there, you're kind of talking about like if right here we're sitting at 60%, it looks like we're going up to about 90% by that phase there. So it says here as for the third period is ecosystem expansion. As the number of users increases, the number of data utilization business will further increase. As the number of data utilization business increase, the amount of Jasmy coin distribution will also increase. So all you really need to know in all of this is that this is a corporate structure and a corporate plan. And this is exactly how the tokenomics are working in terms of the release schedule for the circulating supply. So right now, we're definitely actually in the period of growth and value. And next, we'll be moving up here to the period of ecosystem expansion. So we're not there yet. We're kind of floating right about here, I would say. And, what's misleading is when you look at CoinMarketCap and it gives you the circulating supply at 10%, that makes it look like we're down here. Well, we're actually not down there anymore. We were down there last year. Now, where we plummeted in dilution was when they added all of those different centralized exchange listings, which essentially followed their exact plan. So that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody of where it went to get to this point. All right. So as things transition into the future over time, they will release more coins. And my preference, obviously, is that they release it when the market's at the bottom. I'd be just fine with that. And eventually we'll go from roughly, let's say, 60% up to about 90%. And then there'll be another 10% or so that has to go. So thanks, Brian, for sending me that over. Big shout out to you. And I think you were spot on saying we're in period 2, the period of growth in value. Okay, so that's pretty much all I've got for today's video. So we're going to sum this one up with some final thoughts and bring it on home, right? If you're enjoying today's video and want to learn more, make sure to visit our website at KIRfinance.com, your one-stop resource shop. Once you're at the site, the first thing to do is provide your email in order to be made aware of future announcements, including blog posts, products, and services. Next, check out the About Me section for a little bit about our mission and how we plan to pay it forward. We also have links to our social media, including Twitter and YouTube. Our brand new Patreon page was also just launched with the website, where users are offered various membership tiers for exclusive content and access. We even have a blog now where I plan to post daily financial articles. There's also a link to our merch shop where we've got KIR Finance product options for the whole family. Our affiliate links are posted for endorsed platforms. Just click the picture. NFTs are also available now at OpenSea.io. We have a financial education section, which includes my book on personal finance and soon-to-be course links. And lastly, if you'd simply like to leave a tip, you also have that option, and we'll mention your support in our next video. Thanks for watching, and now let's get back to the video. All right, so now let's sum up today's video on Jasmy, our weekly update. So first of all, we had that other exchange listing with at least over 3 million users on the Mercado Bitcoin, so I find that very bullish. It's even more exposure. Always a good thing, right? Moving forward from there, the couple of articles that were posted in IT media, very informative and a lot of information from the team. So it's really good to kind of read these articles when you can. Sometimes they're a little bit hard to follow and a little bit technical. So I try to break them down, keep it simple. Even when I do that, I still have a long video. So hopefully we accomplish that with today's video. But the whole point of those articles was talking all about the Secure PC, whether you're just the employee or the manager, what that sort of looks like. So I thought that was pretty neat. Going to the Binance Academy article, that was very informative. So there is a lot in there that they shared that I haven't seen anywhere else, which tells me they're either talking directly to the team or the team provided that information. So a lot of really good info in the Binance Academy article. I highly recommend you check that one out. Going now to CoinMarketCap, the HODLers continue to go up. Awesome. The circulating supply lines up with period 2 moving towards period 3. So that is sort of a bit of a new development that maybe not everybody has caught on to. I think that's very positive, right? Moving forward to the actual chart. The chart itself, Jasmy, for the most part, has been really trying to hold its own. It's been trying to deviate from Bitcoin. And you can see that because we keep adding people to this project, adding HODLer wallets. There's a lot of people that see this one, they like it, they want to get into it, etc. Right? I get it, right? What has been holding us back has nothing to do with Jasmy, and I say this all the time. It really doesn't. So, you know, I get comments like this all the time. I get fudders replying to posts. I even had somebody arguing with me that they would rather have stocks of celery over Jasmy coin. So at the end of the day, it's kind of like, all right, you do you, okay? You do you. Do whatever you want. I don't care. You do what you want to do, all right? I will do what I want to do, and I'll tell everybody else what their options are. That's it. I don't care about your FUD, okay? So the reason the markets are down are because of the stock market, the NASDAQ. They have just been absolutely plummeting over the last couple weeks. I mean, this has been one of the reddest periods in the market ever. Consistently over however many weeks of red it's been, this is a consistent pattern that has happened, okay? So it has nothing to do with Jasmy, it has nothing to do with crypto. The only bearish thing that happened in crypto revolves all around UST and Luna and Anchor and how they're going to pull themselves out of this mess. That's still swirling, but it's not as bad as it was. So that tore us down a little bit further. But again, what triggered all that, again, was stock market FUD, etc. So going to the chart and going to Jasmy, Jasmy is a long-term play. If you're trading Jasmy for a day-to-day, weekly thing, I don't know if this is the coin to be doing that with. There's probably other coins that you can get a lot more in volatility if you really wanted to, something like Luna, for example, as long as it's listed. Very high risk, okay? Me personally, that's just a little too much high risk for me, and I don't watch the market like a hawk all day, every day. So sometimes I just need to have my investments where they're at and moving upward over time, which all that truly matters, I'm going to let you all in on a secret right now. All that truly matters is the Bitcoin baseline. That's it. The entire crypto market in one sentence. Bitcoin baseline. That's it. As long as that baseline moves up over time with Bitcoin, the entire cryptocurrency market will move up with it. And with projects like Jasmy, we have got so much potential here. Just a mountain of potential. And going back to the Binance Academy article, they talked about staking, they talked about blockchain, they talked about governance, all those things that I've been talking about the last couple of weeks, they talked about all of it and in that article, and Hara retweeted it. So we know it's in the works. So that's there. We know they're working on a wallet. That's there also. All these things, you just got to follow the breadcrumbs and you'll get to where you need to go here. So that's pretty much it with today's video. I thought it was very informative. Even when I look at these things, I connect some of these dots, learn some more things every single week. We learn more. Now, I'll be looking forward to our call. Haven't heard anything about the update on it yet, but keep an eye out if you're on Twitter. We have been having that call on Sundays in the afternoon. So if we end up doing that call this week, keep an eye out for it. You can join in, you can ask questions, you can listen to the various speakers talk. A lot of good speakers on this phone call. So if you join that, follow them all. You can learn a lot of information. All right. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a great weekend. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button. Don't forget that I'm also on Twitter at KIR Finance, where you can find me tweeting and retweeting. Check me out there. And lastly, for a friendly reminder, this is Jesse with Keeping It Real Finance, channel that always has your back, tells it like it is, and I will see you on the next one. Later.